Everybody, welcome to Let's Talk. It's a call-in show on the Skeptic Haven channel. Let's Talk is a safe space for atheists, those questioning or leaving religion, and anyone that wants to ask questions, ignore my phone, and have respectful discussion. From the U.S., call us at 984-789-4787, and from outside the U.S., call in from your, not ours, because you can't have ours, your computer using the URL on the screen. Ain't technology fantastic?
This is Skeptic Haven. Let's talk.
Oh, hey, we're live again. Well, I mean, we were live, but it was just the intro, and now it's not the intro, and here we are.
I think they can hear and see us.
I think so. Mikey, how are you, man?
I'm good. I'm currently smelling a dinner that's 95% of the way done. I'm very upset with myself. If I had started my dinner 45 minutes earlier, I would be full right now, gloating. But now I'm not. But I'm not.
So what's on the menu?
So I got 2 pork tenderloins in the oven, 1 lemon pepper garlic salt. So good. And we got another one that's running, that's mesquite.
Oh, hey.
And we got some spuds and some honey glazed chopped carrots. And that's Din Din at Chez de Famine.
Is that the name of the restaurant I'll be attending tonight, apparently?
It's very limited seating.
Okay.
But
hey, I've been to your place. I know what it is.
But we do have space for 1 high chair if anybody needs it.
I can sit in a high chair.
Well, it wouldn't be very high for very long. It is plastic.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, that's true.
It will be in you.
Ew.
Well, don't sit on it. It's too small.
I got enough microplastics in me. I don't need some macroplastics in me too.
Is that how we become like the synthetic beings of the future? Is like the microplastics just slowly start to fill us up until we're just electricity and plastics?
I don't know, but I seen an article, and I don't even ask me where, but because I just flip through my phone when I'm outside
Where?
smoking a joint, and I was reading something about these little nanobots. Like, they're not nanobots, but they're nanobacteria that eats plastic, and they're thinking of training these things to go inside and chew on all the microplastics. The only problem is they wouldn't be able to go into the brain because it could do damage there, right? And we have microplastics in our brain now, apparently.
Those are called upgrade chips. I like to think of them that way.
Tons of my says it was in Penthouse. Yeah. I always just read the articles.
That's all. Yes, that great article depository, Penthouse.
That's right. Look at the Trees wants to know if I 3D print my own custom Lego pieces. I do not. I do not have a
cheating.
3D printer. I know some people that do when they have parts that aren't available through Lego and they need them for whatever reason, so they do that. One of the Lego YouTubers that I watch constantly, because he's Canadian, for one, that was the reason number one. His name is Brixie. He's out of Alberta, and he rented this guy rented a fucking warehouse to build his Lego city because it was too big for his basement.
Dang.
So, and it's massive, and he's got this huge city, and he's got rooms with shelves with displays on them, like a Star Wars room,
like human-sized rooms,
like bigger than that, much bigger. Oh yeah, of course a human could fit in them.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't just have like a warehouse where there's like a town, but it's like Lego people. So it's a Lego people-sized town that is the size of a warehouse.
He's got massive tables out there, and he's got all these little Lego sets all over the place, including a campground, a winter village,
elevators,
a city, train yard. He's thinking about. He's got a mountain down the middle, and he's thinking about getting an airport done in there too. And I'm like, oh shit, dude, that's gonna be huge.
Like, I'm neurospicy too, but come on, man, a whole warehouse. You got to start putting some hard lines in there when you are needing like zoning permission for your Lego product. Like you gotta slow it down a little bit just to help everybody else out. Help your family and your friends. They're cool with the Lego stuff, but damn, dude, the fact that we had to get a letter from the city saying you could build that thing is too much.
I don't think they care as long as he pays the rent. It's all good.
Right. He's like, what do you want to put in there? Lego. Sure. You paying cash? All right. Go for it.
It's all yours.
Moron. Give me your money.
No, Lego Master. That's what we call it. It's kind of like Jedi Master, just a Lego version.
You know what? Honestly, the income from his YouTube channel, because I'm not going to front. I really want to go look at a couple of those videos and take a look at it. So that pays for the thing, you know?
He also has a Whatnot, which is kind of like a TikTok, but it's called Whatnot. It's an app, and you can set up and you can do auctions and stuff. And I've already bought a few figures off the guy. I bought a pretty rare Chewbacca figure that's all white with a Christmas thing across him. And I bought it for like $48 or something. So
the legendary.
a few others as well. But I got a $15 coupon credit from him for doing that shit. So
I like it.
Yeah,
I like it.
But support our fellow creators.
Yeah, if people are out there letting their nerd flag fly, who am I to say no? I will make jokes because I am immature, but I will love it.
Well, there's a lot of women out there that when I tell them I'm a nerd, this flag flies. So I don't know why, but, you know.
So I had a red flag warning in Illinois for the first time in my entire life.
Oh yeah,
I didn't even know what it was. And apparently red flags are for Neil. And more importantly, you're not allowed to have like cookouts or bonfires and stuff like that. And we had like some dry weather and some really, really high winds. And then like all those tornadoes came through. I think somewhere in the neighborhood of like 20 plus people in Missouri and Illinois died from the tornadoes from the last couple of days.
Wow.
So, yeah, it was really, really bad. Like brick buildings getting like dismantled. Really, really intense damage. Crazy stuff.
Yeah, no kidding. I was going to make a in bad taste joke and say it was actually the Tasmanian devil, but
I mean, they get the storms, but usually it's like out in the cornfields. You know, it's usually a bunch of nothing out there that the storms really kind of. The poor corn's like, no, not again. Leave us be. Curse you, storm.
First crows, now tornadoes. What's going on?
What's next? Locusts? Oh, I shouldn't say that too loud. The locusts just pop. The cicadas wake up early.
Oh, okay, let's see. Hang on here a second.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going over to the call-in studio there, and there is nothing happening yet. Come on, folks, get on here if you want to talk to us about. I don't even know what the topic is today. I didn't look.
I was about to say, did we have a topic?
I'm not sure.
I just be here, you know.
How about you just try to convince us that whatever deity is you believe in, why we should believe too, and we'll tell you why you're right.
Why is yours good? Why is yours so good?
Yeah.
Huh? Huh?
I believe in the Lego gods because they build me up. Never mind.
The brick goddess.
That's right.
Lega.
Oh shit! Call-in studio is down.
Oh. Well, hey Neil. Hey Neil. I don't think it's us. I think Call Studio might be down instead. I think we're very popular, and people are just not able to get to us. You know, there's probably thousands, hundreds of thousands of people just trying to get in. It's just not working right now.
I'm sure there is.
Huge line. That's probably what it was. The line was so
around
long.
the block.
Mm-hmm. The line on the
handle
phone
the bandwidth.
Essentially, we flooded the system.
There we go. Lego gods just click. Says tons of mice.
That clicks with me. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That sound is very satisfying.
I can get down with certain pieces of that.
Yeah, I'll show you guys the last build we did on when I do one of my Lego episodes. We built this sucker right here. Little Doctor Who. Look at that, eh? That is a damn cool little Lego model, I gotta say. And you can get into it too. By the way, it's really big on the inside, but that part's over there, so I'm not going to pull that out. So we'll just take
Bigger
off
on the
roof
inside,
like that.
pull it out. I have showed amazing restraint today. I just want to be congratulated for that. And
Oh yeah, got to flip up these guys here. Yeah, bigger on the inside, pull it out.
I just want to say, when the awards are given out at the
There
end,
you go. There's
I want
the
a
doctor.
medal.
Peter Capaldi one. What in the hell was that? Oh, it's a piece of Lego. It fell off. It's probably because when I gave this to my manager at work, he wanted to see it, so I brought it in, and he was trying to open it, and he was wrecking it, and everything was falling apart, and I don't know where this piece goes now.
The Time Lord's got to do some regulatory maintenance on that bad boy. It's coming to pieces.
Oh, I see where it goes. Okay, there we go. Anyway, yeah, so I thought it was a pretty cool little Lego
I still
model
gotta
to build.
I gotta take the dive into Doctor Who. Not quite there yet.
No?
No, I've been like, there's so much stuff that the nostalgia for a show that you kind of already missed the boat on is hard. You know what I mean? There's so much cool shit coming out right now.
Yeah,
It's
that's
hard
true.
it's hard to say no to that stuff. And like, no. Invest the next 90 hours into this show that you'll never get, you know.
You'll never see all of them because apparently, according to BBC, some of the shows were lost in a fire that happened some years back. So, but they
What?
do have, yeah. We're talking like the first few seasons. There's a few
Y'all better
episodes.
you got the script somewhere. Get his ass back in the studio and reshoot.
Yeah,
They got to be under contract somewhere.
pretty sure the original guy is passed on. So
Somebody can get in
that's too
there.
bad. They could do a
You gotta-
lookalike. They could do a computer,
Yeah.
AI generated versions of it, I guess. But it wouldn't be the
Or
same.
just have them act. You know, they're actors after all.
Indeed.
They could.
Why they call
They
them
could-
actors.
They could get in there and pretend. Just read the lines again so we don't lose the story. Because that would be hella annoying to just have, like, you know, the Cell Saga not in Dragon Ball Z.
Okay, what's going on here? Let's see. I don't know what's going on. I don't know who's saying what here in the private chat.
Oh.
Yeah.
Was I supposed to be reading that?
No. Okay, let's get the right. I don't know.
Is it good? You try it?
No Collins Studio
We'll try it first.
tonight. Okay, so they can try from the computer. Apparently, you can try from your computer if you would like to chat with us. That Bree has put in the chat there. Oh no, that's Discord. Is that Discord? Can we do it through Discord? I didn't know we could do that. Oh, there. See, read this little banner down there.
Oh, okay.
Maya says you don't have to do anything, Mikey. Just sit there and look pretty.
I'm working on it.
Keep working.
I don't want to ruin my streak. You know what I'm saying?
It's those damn dimples get me every time.
Hey, I showered today. I should be the eye candy.
You did too?
Mm-hmm.
Me too.
It was bath day. Bath day for Dada.
Was there a ring around the tub after?
Oh my God! I have to just, and it's also clean the bathroom day. It's deep scrub with Lysol.
I have that spray stuff with the little scrubbing bubbles that they show in the commercial. I have that stuff. I always like that commercial, so that's why I buy the product.
It is a good commercial.
I am sucker
Back
for
when commercials
advertising.
were cool.
Yeah.
You don't get cool stuff like that now.
Well, no. I used to love the old Micro Machine commercials where the guy would
Oh,
talk like a
man.
mile a minute.
I love Micro Machines.
Yeah, me too. I still have some kicking around here somewhere. Like maybe 6 of them or something. One was a little VW microbus, and it was like my favorite one ever, a little blue one. And I think I also had a Corvette, a little Corvette, and a Trans Am, the old Trans Am with the eagle on the Firebird or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I thought those cars were always like it was weird growing up in like the end of the 80s into the 90s because like you saw cars like that, but then like there was the Countach. And it was like, whoa, now that's what the hell is it? And it was like a Batmobile. I was like, oh, well then, yeah, I want the Batmobile looking ass car. Give me that thing. This, so it was like a weird time to try to fall in love with American muscle and all that good stuff when the Italians were misbehaving in the most hilarious way possible.
Well, we were at a video store one time back when they had videos you could rent.
Oh man!
And we came out of the store into the back way instead of the front way, and there was a guy parked there with a white Lamborghini Countach with both the fins, front and back fin.
Oh my god! Oh, the front fin! I forgot about the front fin.
And I'm looking, holy shit! Buddy gets out of the car. He goes, "You want to go for a ride?" I'm like, "Fuck you, Eric. See you later." And I jumped in there.
Anything.
Went around the block a couple times, and he was like, "Oh fuck." You can't gun it in that thing on the city streets, so But it was just cool to say I got a ride in one.
Yeah. And then I mean, back then, yeah, they were like insane, crazy amounts of horsepower. The stuff we do with the 4-cylinder and a turbo now, would like a Countach has nothing. Could never compete, but it was so shocking and loud. And they were all like V10s and stuff like that with just big straight pipes. So there were just like these loud, like larger than life comic book things that you would just like see in person sometimes and tell your friends that I saw it. It came to me in a dream.
But it was reality.
You didn't see it? Oh, I did, man. It was outside the Blockbuster.
So there we go. We got Bree. They're posting the link in the chat there where you can go and talk to them about being on the show, and they'll screen you for the show. Something happened there, Maggie?
She's gonna bring me food. She's like, I don't know if you want to eat now or later. I was like, I'll eat now. That shit smells so good.
Bree, they. I know. All right. I don't know. So the call-in studio is not working. So look at Bree's thing in the chat there, and if you want, they'll check you out on Discord, and you can come on the show. So you're about to eat something? Is that what's happening here?
Oh yeah. I'm about to eat that pork tenderloin with some taters. It's about to be awesome in here.
Tons of mice. I can't even. I'm not repeating that one. We're like vaginas. You told all your friends when you saw one.
It's a special time.
It is. Well, I got to go for a ride in a Ferrari too. When both my cousins Jackie and Casey bought Ferraris when they were in their 20s, I think, and I got to go for a ride in Casey's Ferrari. Casey has passed away, actually killed in that very vehicle.
Wow!
In an accident, yeah, many years ago.
It's always tragic.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, but what a hoot to ride around in those types of vehicles, because they're literally pure power. That's what they are.
I can't wait for the next stage in this Rob Dahm Dahm. I'm not sure how to say it, but the guy who made the 12, he made the 12 rotor.
A rotary engine?
Yeah, with 12 rotor. Yes. And he's making a dragster out of it. Yes, it's insane. It is 100% insane.
Who was it Mazda that came up with that engine style first?
Who is it? Yeah. And the R6 and R7.
Yeah, I thought so. How do we go from Lego to like motor engines, or engine motors and stuff like that?
Hey, it's all STEM.
That's true. It's true.
At the end of the day, it's
Speaking of
all
STEM.
STEM.
That was the other set I built a little while ago. You can't see it; it's just off camera. No, it's not going to work. I'd have to turn this whole thing, and that's just be problem.
I found out that my nephew got accepted into Penn on a full ride.
Wait, Penn State?
Yeah.
Really? Mm-hmm. Nice. Are we talking like a scholarship?
Mm-hmm. Academic scholarship.
Beautiful. That's awesome. Wish somebody would give me a scholarship.
Thank you.
I think I'm a little too old for that. I guess you're never too old to learn or go to school. I remember at the here where I live, anyways, they have junior highs and senior highs, right? And I remember there being in the senior high, there was a lady that was going. She had gone back to senior high to get her grade 12 because she never got it because she got married young, et cetera, et cetera. And she was 68 years old.
She said, "I'm going."
And they said, "Yeah, sure, come on, you'll be the oldest one here, but hey, you're even older than the staff." So, come on.
She said, "I'm walking this year."
Oh yeah, so she got it. She got a grade 12. It's really cool.
Let's give this a taste.
Oh, here we go. I feel like this is like like how people take pictures of their food for like Instagram or Facebook or whatever the fuck it is. This is like the YouTube version.
I just eat in front of you guys.
Yeah.
Normally I wouldn't, but I have a 2-year-old now, and I eat when I have time, not when I'm hungry. So you guys just happen to be along for the ride, because it might be several days before I can have a meal. She does not like when I have nothing in my hands for her.
Oh. Well, if you because usually you're like doing one podcast or another every frickin' day, it seems.
You have to.
And then you're like gaming in the meantime, doing online gaming and stuff like that.
And I'm working on an album.
And yeah, like slow down, man. Sleep and eat. You need to. You have to sleep and eat.
First thing I cut out was showering. Didn't have time.
That's the smell.
Next up was going to the bathroom. I just hold it in forever.
I can't even imagine what that would be like.
Excruciating pain.
Sandstorms in Indiana? Is that what that was?
Yeah, we had a dust storm.
Yeah.
That was crazy. See the Daru coming down the friggin' street.
That's right.
It's a sandstorm joke for all you 90s techno kids. Sandstorm.
90s techno kids? Oh, yeah. Now I get it. You know how I remember stuff like that? Because I worked at a record store, right? Actually was a manager of one in a little mall near where I live. And I always remember, Sandstorm. Now does that sound familiar? And I picture myself in the aisle going through the labels and have the band names on it.
Funny.
Oh, there it is, Sandstorm.
It's become your memory system.
Yeah, it's a filing system for band names.
Yeah, it's your library of the mind. Is you just like in your head walk through the record store and just go, must be on this shelf. It's slow motion.
Sandstorm, there it is.
Darude.
So, that's where some crazy shit happened at that store when I worked there, to be honest. That's where I met Zach Wild.
The wildest of the Zacks.
At the time, he was playing guitar for Ozzy Osbourne, who I ultimately ended up meeting as well, briefly. but still, it was kind of cool. Got to hear one of his backstage stories, which was kind of fun. He was eating a muffin and having coffee, just like a regular person.
Unbelievable.
But Zach walked in, and I didn't recognize him. Right, he just walked. His long blonde hair. He's wearing this, like, I don't know, Mennonite farmer type shirt, button up collar type shirt, and he had these bell bottoms, which nobody wore in 1991. And they were ripped up at the bottom. I just said, "This was this scrub" as he walked into the store, right? And he's digging through the bargain cassette bin, right? Like and he found something, pulled it out.
That's where all the
went
good
over.
stuff is.
No, not in our store. And then he walked over to another part of the store and grabbed another cassette. He came up to the cashier and he dropped down the two cassettes. One of them was Stevie Nicks' Greatest Hits. All right. And the other one was Archangels, which was a Ry Cooder side project band, which is a very good album if you are ever interested in hearing it.
Ry Cooder.
Ry Cooder, yeah. He was an old guitarist, like an old blues guitarist guy. Well, he did do some blues. Anyways. But yeah, it's an unreal album. But anyway, and I said, "Oh, interesting choices." I said to him, "This Archangels is great." He goes, "Yeah, I just heard it the other day and I really like it, so I'm buying it." Oh, very good. He throws down his, I think it was a Visa or something, and I pick it up and I read it, and it says Zachary Philip Wilde, and I'm like, "Wait, like Ozzy's guitar player, Zach Wilde?" He goes, "Yeah, that's me." What the hell are you doing in this little rinky-dink mall in the middle of nowhere? He said, "Oh, we're recording these new singles here at a studio just around the corner from this mall, like across the street, literally." And it turns out I knew the guy that had this little basement studio that he was doing some recording. I didn't know him very well. We'd met a couple of times. Mm-hmm. And he had built a home studio in his basement. So they were recording Mama, I'm Coming Home was one of those songs they were recording in that studio in the basement. And I said, "Is Ozzy here with you?" He's like, "Yeah, he's just over at the muffin joint having a coffee." I said, "Okay, Steve, I'm going on break. Ring him through." And I went around and he followed me through there. And then I got to meet Ozzy and shook his hand. And this is before he started. This is before you couldn't understand him.
Right.
You could still sort of understand him. And he's telling us a couple of backstage stories and whatnot. So it's kind of fun. But I only sat with him for maybe 10, 15 minutes and then he fucked off. So. Because they had to get back to recording. But that's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. And he was pretty cool. He was pretty laid back. Didn't seem to care that this nobody from nowhere walked up and introduced himself to him. Of course, I had Zach like right behind me, so that's probably why. But yeah. So yeah,
Zach's behind you just like,
Zach?
he followed me. I don't know.
He threatened me with a gun. Zach's one of the most chillest dudes ever, too. Like, totally chill. Until he gets on stage, then he's a fucking animal. But, I think we passed the minute mark, so I can swear, right?
Probably.
I mean, we're 28 minutes into this already. No calls. People, call. And no, infidel, I did not have a baby. I can't have babies. I'm sorry.
You'll never be able to do anything with that attitude.
Yeah, really. I suppose if some way they could make it possible, then maybe. But I'm too old to have one now. Anyway.
You could have baby on a plate.
On a barbecue.
On a
Don't
skewer.
atheists eat babies? Don't atheists eat babies, right? Yeah, that's what I heard.
I wanted to bring some... I heard it. I wanted to bring some barbecue sauce. I wanted to bring some barbecue sauce to the hospital as a joke, but... Yeah, it's not that funny.
Where are all the babies? Carrying a big thing of fucking bullseye.
Yeah.
And a hibachi.
Where is your maternity ward? I'm here to see my wife.
Yeah, touch-wise, I think it would be little Neil the 604 Atheist Jr. Would it not be? I don't know why you stuck the junior there, but still, we get it. The junior 604 Atheist. Yeah, there you go.
302.
What area code would that be? Nowhere around here. That's for sure.
Yeah, where is 302? Let's see. I'm going to guess.
Oh, then Infidel posted up. Oh, I see. Hey, Ollie.
Hey, Ollie.
Yeah.
312.
Good.
312 is Chicago. 212 is the Bronx. 305 is Miami. I have no idea where 302 could be.
I couldn't tell you.
And the answer is Delaware?
Oh, there you go.
It's all of Delaware.
I'm sorry, Delaware?
Delaware. More like Della nowhere.
Della here, baby.
Yeah, they should change. They should get up a petition to change it to Della here.
Della here. Della there. Della here. Yeah, I don't know. I get to eat for dinner after this. My roommate made chicken or paprika chicken sort of thing.
Ooh.
With smoked paprika and like a creamy paprika sauce with giant chopped up peppers and big chunks of chicken over some rice. So that should be very good.
And baby.
And chopped up baby. And and some salad. She made a chopped up salad too. No lettuce, just all veggies and stuff like broccoli, cucumber, carrots, everything. And that's really yummy. Because I'm on a diet, folks. Well, I'm eating better, let's put it that way. I don't strictly stick to it all the time. I sneak in the occasional Egg McMuffin or something here and there. Because I don't know what it is. I love those.
Whatever your age is, that's the percentage of healthy food you should be eating.
So you're telling me I should be eating almost 60%?
Yeah.
I think that's about what I do eat. Probably a little more than that.
Because when you're 20, I mean, I think I was trying to put on weight or something because I was supposed to be working out with the rest of the DJs and stuff. And I sat around eating burgers and Oreos for an entire summer. And then I was going to, bulk after. I lost 10 pounds of muscle mass. I was like, this is not fair. It doesn't work. You lied. None of this works. Eating bad doesn't do anything. I just feel like shit.
Well, Ollie's got doing a pork thing too. He's doing pork roast and mashed potatoes.
Yeah, that's what I had. Ollie, you're such a copycat, dude. Ollie always copies me. He always copying me.
Tons of myself having Glenlivet and chicken fries.
My man. Infidel. Infidel says, I hate the baby jokes. We don't eat babies. We can extract the adrenochrome without hurting them.
Is that why we're in it? The adrenochrome? Is that what it is? I have no idea.
Do you remember in the Dark Crystal when they took the little Fraggle people, the little onion spud people, and they would put them in those little clamps and they would extract their essence? That's what I imagine that these psychopaths are saying that we do. Like we're a bunch of Skeksis, and we just have these contraptions with pipes and tubes and needles, and we just grab children and just extract them. It's so crazy. You guys understand that scientifically.
This conversation is crazy.
But this is what I'm saying. There's these conspiracy theories where they assume that people are just out there sucking brain juice out of strange people from off the street, and it's the pictures you show as evidence is these. It's Dark Crystal logic. It's you can't just put a Bunsen burner up to some random thing with a hose coming out of it, and now it's science. Right? That's not science. These are stock photos. None of this is real. I don't know. I just live here.
What do you mean you can't eat pork? Oh, you still consider yourself Jewish, culturally Jewish, I guess, but because you've been on my show, for crying out loud. Yes, Jewish people can eat potatoes. What the hell's wrong? What do you think a latke's made out of, for crying out loud?
Hey, man, if you got a mouth, you can eat a potato.
And you can eat pork. I had lots of pork this morning. They screwed up my order. Well, my order got put in late, so my mom got her lox and bagel first, and then I, of course, got they call it the gargantuan breakfast, but it's really just 2 eggs, some potatoes, some bacon, and ham and stuff. So I always take the ham, and they always give
It's
you
an entire pig.
one blueberry pancake, right? So I thought, he says, I'll tell you, I'll slip in an extra one, because yeah, I had weighed a little bit extra. I was like, all right, cool. So I just put the big slab of ham over top and cut it up with the pancakes and eat it with the pancakes and some little bit of real Canadian maple syrup.
Hey, we have it here in the States. It's just $3,000 an ounce.
An ounce. That's more than gold.
We have to ration it.
I'm currently wearing mixed fabric and I feel amazing. Attaboy, Vanille. Yeah, breakfast. I eat breakfast. I'd eat breakfast for every meal of the day if I could.
It says, I ate mine 2 hours ago. Who's copying who? There's a time difference, so we ate them at the same time, Ollie. Nice try.
What kind of fucking logic is that?
Exactly. What logic am I using? I don't know, and you don't know. So how do we resolve this? I think a draw is fair.
I don't know, but I got something else I want to say. So we haven't had our first call yet. It's just me and Mikey shooting the shit, but here we go. Did you know that we have other great shows? Well, we do,
Tell me more.
On Mondays, it's the Black Freethinkers.
Whoop, whoop.
On Tuesdays, we have Secular Soapbox. Thursday nights is the Sunny Spot.
Sunny Spot.
Saturdays are pretty much like Skeptic Haven's busiest day because of the Global Atheists, 30 and 60, and Women Atheists Unload. And there's lots of great hosts for those shows. And on Sundays, well, you're watching it now. It's called Let's Talk. And normally we have people call in and try to convince us of something or another, some supernatural or ridiculous thought pattern or something along those lines, and see if they can convince us. Here's a spoiler. They usually don't. But yeah, and that's it, yeah.
All right, here's what we're going to do. I thought of it.
Okay.
Wes, get your Photoshop gloves on. You get a thumbnail, me and you, with tinfoil hats.
Oh.
We got a full moon behind us, a bunch of crystals floating through the sky.
Chakras.
Got to see those. We got to have some aliens running around. And we'll
Fucking dream catcher up there.
And then people can just give us their conspiracies.
We're ready.
I'm reading a very good... Oh, where is it? Oh, here it is.
No, I'll keep those Reynolds tinfoil people in business if it's the last thing I do.
Well, I took the cover off because I'm actually reading it now. But right now I'm currently reading...
Birds aren't real.
Yes. And it's really awakened something inside me, I think.
What's that? Laughter?
How dare you laugh at this? This man risked his life for this journalism. He says so on the third page. It's like I've been trying to be murdered, but the government is trying to take me out for weeks. He's
gotta be parody.
Brother, I'm talking about, he's like, an air conditioner fell out of a window no less than 3.5 miles away from me. Clearly that was a hit. But it's entitled...
Stand up straight. Anyway.
It's entitled Birds Aren't Real, The True Story of Mass Avian Murder and the Largest Surveillance Campaign in U.S. History. You guys should check it out. Get your own copy.
Wow.
Get your own today.
Can't have Mikey's. All right, so what do we got going on here?
Oh, man. That's fallen. That lives on the ground now.
There isn't a ticket for the show. I'm a kicker.
2 eggs to it. 2 eggs, potatoes, bacon, and a half a toddler. There you go. Dude, I wish I could, get this kid to, at least battle me in some sort of fair way. She's so angry about everything. You're so mad. I'm like, why are you
Called
mad?
the terrible twos for a reason, my friend.
Like you hand her food out of order and she like will melt down on you. I'm like, lady, look at this face. I don't care. But
Eat what I put in front of you.
I'll give you the other thing, but you don't have to yell at me. Just ask.
They demand so much. Have you seen that Talking Baby podcast? You seen that shit? Mm-mm. Well, obviously it's AI generated, but it's like a baby, and
Oh, gross.
its only guest is the dog that lives with them, right? So, as usual, my guest, because the only other person I know. Wait, are you even a person? I don't know. And like they go back, it's like a little pug sort of dog, and they go back and forth. It's so funny. So funny. All I have to do to get fit is just start crying. And then this boob appears in front of me or something along those lines, and then I get fit.
Bow wow, I'm such a dog. Like, I don't know. AI jokes inserted here. It's it's gonna be interesting to see how my kid grows up with two parents that are neurodivergent and how it'll be like constantly her having to remind us about stuff rather than having to hide her having to hide her feelings about how, like, you know, something upset her. Like, we'll be totally emotionally available for her, but you may get left at practice a couple times, like just like like you
Give
might
me a forewarning right now.
like you might have to walk home from school because both of us are waiting for the other one to pick you up. And we haven't
Forewarned
realized.
is forearmed.
Maybe we'll get you a bike so you could just take care of it yourself.
What do you mean, maybe? Every kid deserves a bike.
Yeah.
You start with the tricycle, then you move up to a larger size with the training wheels, and then you go to the full-size bike.
Well, I mean, she skipped that step. She's got like the play school, you know, the play school mobile, the little car.
Oh, yeah, with the plastic one, the big
And
red roof on it.
in pink. And
Oh.
hers has eyes. So it looks like, it almost looks like a
One of the
little
Cars vehicles.
yeah, like a Disney Cars car. And I was like, well, look at this, is awesome. And you know what she does? Locks the door.
You ain't getting in there with me, buddy.
Doesn't want to scoot around. She likes to sit in there, get the fresh air, and as soon as you get your hand in there, I'm like, girl, I've been locked out. Okay. Respects
Pick
her
that whole
space.
thing up when they're in
just
it.
just shake her out of there. But no, I gotta wait because I've been locked out.
I agree with Todd. You can't skip the big wheel. The only thing I hated about big wheels, especially the green machine, which was made by the same company, it was a longer one, and it was like a little chopper, and it had the brake thing. You could pull the brakes rather than having to, and you could skid, right? But every time you did that, the plastic wore off, and you'd be like, because
And you
it's
get a flat
fucking
spot.
thinner. Yeah, and it would just drive that thing. You have to replace those suckers all the time.
Yeah, they
We used to
gotta come
build
up
our
with a
own.
better way.
We used to
think
build our
they
own
ha-
go-karts.
They have something like that now, where it's got like plastic that goes over like the rubber wheels and just makes you lose like pretty much all of your traction, so you can just like skid out.
Like you're driving on ice.
Well, like if
Have
you
you
had a
seen the
front wheel
adult
drive
size one?
car.
You see the
Yeah.
adult size big wheel? They're huge. It's fucking
What?
awesome.
I feel like that should have happened 10 years ago, and then that would have just been my mode of transportation to the present day.
Yeah, I'd buy one. No, but when we were kids, we like somebody's lawnmower would die, right? So we'd like take the motor into class, like in high school or whatever, take it apart, little 2-stroke sucker, and put it back
Yeah.
together, fix it all up, and then build a go-kart out of it. Tweak the governor so you get full speed out of it. It's great.
I mean, if you put like a weed whacker motor on like a modern scooter, you could easily get that bad boy up to like 30, 40 miles an hour. Like,
Yeah,
it
but you'd
don't
be
take
going in a
much.
circle, wouldn't you?
Just a very small circle.
I'll see myself out.
Oh, man. Nah,
Oh, hey, look at that.
there it is.
Michael's going, I know I've got that button somewhere.
Badum-tis.
That's right. A little slow on the uptake there, Michael. Okay, that was funny.
That'll shut us up.
Oh, yeah, that'll do it.
Producers have ways of punishing the hosts if we do not do exactly what they tell us to.
I can't hear them, so it doesn't matter.
That's the worst part, is like you know that they're judging you, but you can't hear what they're saying.
Silently judging.
Yeah, see?
Now we're just playing. It's like, well, Jimmy doesn't care when he does like the line where he pops himself in and goes, "Hey, listen here." It's like too funny.
Coming in hot.
Tweak the governor meant something different here in Arkansas when Bill Clinton. And we'll leave it at that.
Good old Arkansas.
Nice way to erect the past. But never mind.
I had an opportunity to interview him once.
Oh, Clinton?
Yeah, but I blew it.
Oh! Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Give me my room
Michael,
shot.
just hover your finger over that button. It's going to be one of those.
Gotta be like an octopus on all the buttons, just ready.
That's right. Just hold the little...
Speech.
The hell was that? We have been speaking.
Ooh.
You know what my new favorite thing ever is? Because I'm a slob when I eat.
Okay. Rubber bibs. You're muted. Mm-hmm. It's a good story. That's why I want to hear it. Nope. Just me eating on stream. Singing for the nice people out there. Hi, nice people. Yes, microphones that work would be great. Thank you, tons. Oh, I didn't see that. I think Mikey's daughter cut me off in traffic the other day. It wouldn't surprise me. She's terrible. She deliberately runs me over every time she's in that thing. She looks at where I'm at, where I'm going, or if she's on a little trike, which is an airplane. She just looks to harm my Achilles. Yeah, I still got audio. I think it's still on your side. Do we have an advertisement to run so Neil can F5, Mr. Producer?
This is Wes with Skeptic Haven. I created this channel with hopes of creating something new, not hateful towards religion, but pro-science, pro-rational thinking, pro-philosophy, pro the things we are without religion, caring about humanity, caring about issues that affect women, and being allies to those that are oppressed globally.
The colors and the flower evolved in order to attract insects to pollinate it is interesting. It means that insects can see the color. It adds a question. Does this aesthetic sense also exist in the lower forms? Why is it aesthetic? All kinds of interesting questions which the science knowledge only adds to the excitement, the mystery, and the awe of a flower. It only adds. I don't understand how it subtracts.
I should like to say two things. One intellectual and one moral. The intellectual thing I should want to say to them is this. When you are studying any matter or considering any philosophy, ask yourself only what are the facts and what is the truth that the facts bear out. Never let yourself be diverted either by what you wish to believe or by what you think would have beneficent social effects if it were believed. But look only and solely at what are the facts. That is the intellectual thing that I should wish to say. The moral thing I should wish to say to them is very simple. I should say, love is wise, hatred is foolish. In this world, which is getting more and more closely interconnected, we have to learn to tolerate each other. We have to learn to put up with the fact that some people say things that we don't like. We can only live together in that way. If we are to live together and not die together, we must learn a kind of charity and a kind of
I don't
tolerance,
fucking know.
which is absolutely vital to the continuation of human life on this planet.
The equation E is equal mc square.
Some part of our being knows this is where we came. We long to return. And we can, because the cosmos is also within us. We're made of star stuff. We are a way for the cosmos to know itself.
You guys heard me?
We
Good.
are not able to ask skeptical questions.
Carl's my
to
hero.
Interrogate those who tell us that something is true. To be skeptical of those in authority. Then we're up for grabs for the next charlatan, political or religious, who comes ambling along.
With help, I've created a wonderful and diverse skeptic community with the purpose of helping one another in this world. We may be born and die alone, but we don't have to live alone. We're a safe haven for those needing safety to live their life as themselves. Something many are unable to do with religion and superstition that goes with it. Dare to be skeptical.
Hey, look, Mikey, we switched spots.
Hey, now we can hear you.
Oh, jeez.
Ow,
It's like
my
musical
neck.
chairs over here. That was too quick,
Whiplash.
man. I got whiplash. Yeah. Well, it's good to see that my mic. I don't know what the hell happened. To be honest, I don't
You
know
made
what
it
to tell you.
upset.
But what I was saying earlier is my new favorite thing is these fucking things, Tide pens. Because when you drop something on your shirt or something and you got to get rid of it real quick, it disperses it when you put that stuff on there. It's great.
I brought one of those to prom. I was several people's hero.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt.
All them rented tuxedos. And they gave us pasta with red sauce. I'm like, come on, think about it. Think about it. Why would you give us red sauce?
Yeah,
You know-
I don't know.
You know
That
we don't
seems
own
crazy
these
to me.
clothes. You know
That's
this
probably
ain't
why they
hard.
give you red sauce.
They got
If you don't know.
They got a cleaning racket, cleaning fee racket going on with the local renters.
I gotta say, that little while I was fixing the nobody can fucking hear me problem. That was quite the little thing you made there, Wes. It was really good. I like that.
Yeah,
Russell
good job,
in there.
Wes.
You had Carl in there, even Einstein. It's pretty cool. Yes, Tide pens are old, but I've never used them until recently, and they've become like my new favorite thing for because I'm a kind of a sloppy eater. Tide Pod challenge. No.
I passed the Tide Pod challenge.
I seen a funny meme though, where they have the Tide Pod challenge. Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Well, you passed it on to the neighbor. You do it.
No, I just put the Tide Pod in the washing machine and I didn't smell like a musty little kid. That's the challenge, right? That's what they were doing. They were washing their dirty, smelly clothes instead of like wearing them around other people.
No, I think they were eating them.
Oh,
And
well, that's
the
worse.
funny, the funny meme that I saw had a Tide Pod. Now a Tide Pod, they had the Tide liquid pouches.
Like
They
Capri
put a
Sun.
straw in it, like a drink box kind of thing. So it's like a little, yeah. What do they call those? Sun?
Capri Suns.
Yeah, that's it there.
They treat the big jug with the little spigot on there. Like, instead of boxed wine, just get a box of Tide. Why not? For all of you Zoomers out there.
Look at the trees. It seems like we would have been friends if we were around each other at the same time.
That was funny.
I use school dances as cover for drinking and smoking pot in the back roads. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Yeah. Mikey passes the challenge. The challenge was not to eat the Tide Pods. That's right.
I just washed my clothes.
You saw somebody vape a Tide Pod? That's brutal. Why? Why would somebody do that?
For what reason?
Clean my lungs out a little bit, I guess, sir. Maybe.
I mean, we got RFK, so hey, who knows?
Who swam in a sewage-infested creek?
Oh my god, with children.
Like he was in there with his grandchildren. He was in there with his head under the fucking water.
That's
Are you
okay.
Serious? Hope he gets cholera or something. And I don't wish death on anyone, but I would.
He's got the corpse of a brain worm that no one can control in there. He's fine. He could swim in battery. I'm just waiting for all of the villains from Batman have like an origin story. Like I'm just waiting for him to like fall in a vat of like vaccine and become like Two-Face. Because he's got big Harvey Dent vibes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then he just gets enraged from the vaccines that he fell into.
I think his current face kind of looks like the bad side of the Two-Face anyway, so.
That's what I'm saying. It'll get better.
And he's almost got a voice like rain.
And then everyone says, "Don't make fun of him." I'm like, "No."
Yes,
I'm gonna make fun of him. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you feel bad that I'm gonna make fun of him, but it's happening. There are worse things that are happening right now. I need you to focus on those worst things and not on the fact that I'm making fun of this guy.
Making fun of a moron. Yep, no doubt.
Little space invader. Hi.
Aw. Aw.
Don't touch that. That ain't yours. What you need a dry erase board for? You can't write.
Yet.
Or read. She can write. Yeah, writing she can do.
Oh yeah?
She can definitely write. What it is, no one knows.
Little circular scribbles on the wall with crayon. Yeah. Isn't that what they made the Mr. Clean mark eraser or something?
The magic eraser. Those things, I don't know what is in there except for magic. It has to be magic crystals of some sort.
That's why they're called magic erasers.
Because they literally will clean everything. And then once you start in like one corner of the house because one thing was a little bit dirty, and then by the time you know it, it's 4 days later, and you have magic erasered the entire house. And then you realize that first spot's not looking so good anymore. You start again. And again. It's a curse.
Oh.
A beautiful
raid
curse.
Maya? Is that what's going on here? All right.
Okay. Up for a raid.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. What do you say?
Sounds good
Nobody
to
wants
me.
to call in, man. So nobody likes us. Everybody hates us. We're gonna eat some worms.
Might as well.
I used to like that worms in dirt. The chocolate crumble stuff.
Yeah.
With the gummy worms in them.
Some crushed up Oreo with some gummy worms. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
There used to be at Baskin Robbins, my first job, my best job. There was a Shrek sundae, which had its own Shrek ice cream, which is like a purple and green sorbet. and
Sorbet.
sherbet, and and it had nerds in it, little crunchy nerds in the
Awesome.
in the sherbet. But then that would go 2 scoops of that hot fudge, the Oreo crumbs, and then some worms on it to look like dirt. Them kids couldn't eat that shit. They thought it was so hilarious that they were eating dirt and worms. I'm like, to be young again. To really be 8 when that came out and be like, yes, I'm eating dirt. Yes. So happy to eat dirt.
It tastes like chocolate.
Dirt tastes like chocolate.
It's like the shit you see on like for Halloween, where they do for kids' Halloween parties, where they like they make like little vanilla cakes and then they paint a red nail on it and it's a severed finger and there's blood all over the back of it and it's like, which is like raspberry jam or something.
Right.
You pick them up and eat them. And I've had one of those. They're pretty tasty too.
Like the Jello eyeballs.
Yeah. Yeah. Or my mom's or my friend's mom, pardon, my mom's friend. No, my friend's mom used to take, she'd find smaller apples. I guess they're little yellow ones. They weren't crab apples. They actually tasted good. But she would use some sort of icing or something and make them all white. Mm-hmm. Put an eyeball in them, so you'd be dunking for eyeballs instead of apples in a thing. Yeah,
excellent.
It didn't last very long because, of course, the icing would start to melt as the water got warmer. So you're in there and you got your face in there and there's icing floating around.
Just,
and you're trying to get the
chunks
apples out of there. Yeah, it was pretty funny. But it was a good idea. I thought it was a good idea.
That
or
creepy
the brain
crawlers.
cupcakes, where they have the little cupcakes and they put brain on top, so you're eating brain cupcakes.
Some young ladies might have remembered their Easy Bake Oven, but there was also creepy crawlers. I remember that. I wanted that bad to make your own like little.
Yeah, I had a friend that had one of those. Yeah, little rubbery bugs, and you could stick them on things.
Was it rubber or was it food? Wasn't there one that was food? I think there was one that was like gummy. Like there was like a gummy one.
Maybe, but the one that he had was only just rubber, like little rubber pellets you melt, different colors, and you can make little lizards or insects or whatever, centipedes, stuff like that. Later on, they probably came out with a food version because gummies weren't really a thing when those first came out. When I saw them,
yeah,
but they weren't. Gummy bears were a thing still. But.
What was the name of the thing where you could they gave you like little tin pellets or something, and then it had like a little forge, and you could have these molds. And you would like I would put like the talc powder in there, and then like I would put the mold in there, and I would melt the pellets, and then you could dump it, and you could like make these like little metal things. And I think I made like a necklace charm or something. It came like with the little rope and stuff. I was like, this is so cool.
Like a little aluminum pellets or solder pellets?
Yeah. I mean, it had like a little heating element in there that would like, just get them above their melting point, and it would just pour in there. But I was like, oh my, I am melting metal. Yes.
What do you mean I'm older than worms?
That is disrespectful.
Thanks, sure.
Worms are very old. That is highly disrespectful.
Hello, little horn. Yes, we do like gummy bears. Not so much big fans of Hulk Hogan anymore after he kind of went psycho. So, yeah.
What about gummy? Oh.
Yeah. But yeah, gummies are good.
Yeah, what happened to Hulk? You had the easiest road in front of you. And you just crank the wheel into racism like a crazy pants.
Yeah, yeah.
For no
Forged
reason.
by Numbers? Is that what that thing was called? Forged by Numbers?
Maybe. Let me look up a picture.
Cocaine. Yeah. Yeah, smear cocaine around there.
Oh, how many Y's are in numbers? What the hell? There we go.
You spelled numbers with a Y?
Yeah.
You were still thinking of gummies. No, that's even an I. Wait, what am I?
Toy 90s. Oh, there it is. It was the metal molder, the die-cast factory. Yes.
Die-cast factory.
Yes, this is it. Oh, dude, this is it. All right. How do I... 0. That's your own face, sir. Stop barking at it.
Is he barking himself in the mirror?
He can see himself in the reflection off of the glass of the frickin' back door. So he keeps yelling at the ugly dog in the backyard. It's like, that's you, dumbass. You're the ugly dog. The ugly dog is inside the house. The ugly dog is barking from inside the house.
Oh, did cocaine happen to Hulk Hogan? Probably.
Roids.
I never met Hogan, but back in the old days, like we were talking late 80s, mid 80s to late 80s, when I was a pizza delivery driver in my ute, back in my salad days.
The two utes.
There was a place called the Skyline Hotel that was right near the airport. So all the wrestlers, when they came to do their Raw and stuff here in Vancouver, they would stay there. And they would order like 12 or 15 pizzas at a time. And I always got to go take it because apparently the first time I delivered it, they really liked me. So I would go there and I saw like the Bushwhackers and Hacksaw Jim Duggan. And I think the funniest thing that I saw, I'm not sure if you're familiar with George the Animal Steele.
No.
An older, bigger dude that used to wear one of them leotard kind of things. And he was and his tongue was green. He was like, he pretended like he was all fucked up. And the first time I delivered, he was sitting in the corner in a nice little armchair reading a Wall Street Journal or some shit like that with his little eye like the kind that I got, you know, like this. And he's reading his paper there. I'm like, are you George the Animal Steele? And he goes, yes, I am. Like a total gentleman kind of guy, right? And I'm like, is your tongue green? He's like, not at the moment. We put the Jell-O food coloring on it later, or whatever it is that they use.
That's funny.
And they're all pretty cool. I met who was Hogan's big bad guy at the time? Big John Studd. Big
Macho
John Studd.
Man.
And I never met Macho Man either. So anyway, but I met a few of them.
Did you know Macho Man had...
Lanny Poffo was another one I met.
I did not know that one. Did you know that Macho Man Randy Savage has several albums out? And yes, before you ask, all of the songs are shit-talking songs to Hulk Hogan.
What?
Yeah, they're all about Hulk Hogan, and they're all hilarious.
Who's this?
Macho Man Randy Savage.
Oh, okay.
He has and they're all rap.
They teamed up. They ended up teaming up at some point.
This is like the 2010s that new songs were coming out in 2010 about their wrestling beef from like 85. Like it was hilarious. Somebody is selling this Toy Max metal molder die cast factory first gen kit for $170.
It's pretty good.
You got me confused. I don't even remember.
Were they like $50 when they first came out? $40?
I don't know. Jesus. The kids screaming.
The NWO years, yeah.
Oh yeah. The Hollywood Times.
Yeah. Hollywood Hogan, yeah.
I used to love wrestling back then.
My wife met Hulk Hogan and asked her to rub oil on him on the beach.
It is what it is. That's the thing I made. The skull with the wings on it.
They're cheaper on eBay, Dad. That says tons of mice.
Looking.
Yeah, well.
I asked if I could make a forge, and my wife was like, no, dummy, no. I was like, oh, it's fine. I would look around, test out some ideas. I would love to have a forge, though. I don't know what I would melt.
Beskar armor, obviously.
Exactly. And we're getting closer and closer to that post-apocalyptic world. They're going to need a forge. They're going to need a blacksmith. We're going to need that in these trying times.
Did I tell you about the
vintage toys?
Cool. Did I tell you about the little badge I have on the back of my vehicle?
Mm-mm.
You know how you can get such and such edition? Mine says Beskar edition.
Nice.
It's got the mud horn on it.
I think it's in the Mini still. I'm selling the Mini. If anyone wants to buy the Mini, let me know. I will sell you the Mini.
It comes with a spider.
No, I don't know what this. I lost it. I went out there to go hang out with it, and it never showed up again.
Maybe it's at my place now. Maybe that's who showed up here earlier.
It's a lot, man. That's a long way. Even at a
Yeah.
full sprint, I don't think they could have made it.
He's
Maybe
a
they just got
jumper.
on a plane. They just hopped on somebody going to the airport.
Load of bananas. Brought it over here. Like that old 70s movie about the spiders that go into the bananas and end up in. I don't know how one single spider ended up multiplying into multiples, but who knows? It was the 70s.
Everybody knows that if you put a spider in a box and then you close the box and don't look in there,
Schrodinger spider.
millions of spiders will come out of that box. That's just how it works.
What is that? Asexual or something like that? What do they call that?
Oh, asexual reproduction?
Yeah, something like that.
Asexual spontaneous reproduction?
Something like that. Just split in two like an amoeba.
Oh man, what if they were like what if spiders were like that broom from Fantasia? Every time somebody splatted them, 16 spiders came out.
Aw, Bree has a purring cat on their desk.
I'll let you borrow my water bottle. No, I'm just kidding.
The spray one. Psst, psst.
If as long as there's water in it, I'd never have to spray it. Because if I pick it up, he's out of here.
I know that fucking thing.
But if it's empty and he can tell it's empty, he's like, yeah, nice bluff, idiot. I'm not stupid.
Now I poop in your shoe.
Throw up. He likes to throw up in the shoes.
Yeah.
I'm like,
my
he's like,
cat
he's like,
likes to
oh,
throw up on my rug.
he's like, oh, this smells bad. This must be a toilet. Let me just throw up in this shoe. It's like, hey, I've cleaned my shoes 4 times recently because you keep puking in them. They do not smell bad. Stop treating them like toilets.
Why am I all stuffy all of a sudden?
Pressure.
Under pressure.
I know y'all's pressure must be all jacked up because ours is. Our weather is all messed up.
Usually it doesn't bother me though. If I feel it anywhere, it's wherever I have arthritis that usually it bothers me. Right, like in my I have arthritis here and here. Right? This sucks. Especially because I work in a lab, so I've always got beakers or cylinders or whatever in my hand. And if I drop one, it's like, there's $200. So it's like, fuck. Lab equipment is not cheap.
Probably because it's hard to make. Hard to make good ones.
Yeah.
Because they could give you just crappy, or they could be irregular, but they have to be perfect.
Yes,
or else nothing else really matters if your beaker is just like got a fat spot on the bottom and it just measures a little bit extra sometimes, depending on the liquid.
Yeah, the pipettes and stuff where they have the pre-measured amounts in them with the little bulbs that you see on the pipettes. Those, like one of those, let's say a 50 mil one or something, is probably $300.
That's crazy.
Like you buy them in bulk, they get cheaper.
Right.
But yeah, just to buy one's like $280, I think. That's Canadian. So that's like $14 in the US.
See, this is why I need to have a forge so I could help your business out by making your
glass
pipette.
blower.
Yeah, I'll melt some stuff. I'll do it.
Zero. Come on now.
Yeah, Zero. The dog's not going anywhere. Notice how he's going exactly where you're trying to go?
That reminds me of that old Seinfeld bit where he's going, my grandmother's got this mirror in her living room. And she has a parrot. The parrot keeps flying into the mirror. Which is fine, but you think that it's like it looks there and it's like, hey, there's a whole other room in there. But you think it would get out of the way of the other parrot that's flying right at it.
It's like, oh, what are you, the bouncer? Come on, how much to get in? Let me in.
You guys believe in science? One day God is going to laugh at you. Didn't God invent science?
Which guy?
So funny. Which guy? Yeah, which one? Which one? Little Oren, get the spray bottle. I use a meme like that every time somebody says something stupid. Like on Threads the other day, he goes, hey, let's turn Threads into a Christian platform. And I'm like, I popped the meme in there, which is like a spray bottle spraying, and it just says no.
No.
Psst, psst, no.
No. We do that outside.
But you start your own, whatever the fuck they are. Your own fucking
Platform.
What are they? Yeah, but they got a social media platform, and you can make that one Christian and invite all your friends, tell the whole bunch.
I love that every space needs to become their space, and they can't just let common space be common space. Like no one's trying to push anything on anybody else, but then here come the Christians having to remind everybody that they have something that nobody cares about, and everyone should listen to them. It's like, dude, everybody has something that only they care about.
Mm-hmm.
So relax.
As you said, "Here come the Christians." I thought of a Primus song right off the top of my head. "Here come the bastards."
It's just so.
I can't remember which album that's on though. Was it Pork Soda or Sailing the Seas of Cheese? One of those two has "Here Come the Bastards." I'm not into cultists, right? Exactly. Cultists.
Unless you have like a cool cult.
Where we play with micro machines and the thing you were looking up.
Yeah,
the Forge.
The Die Molder 2000.
Yeah. The edible creepy crawlers.
Like, I'm pretty sure people who do speed runs of video games are in some sort of a cult.
Seas of Cheese, you got it. Yes, thank you.
But I think that's a cool cult to be in.
Yeah. Tommy the Cat is my name. Fuck, that's a great song. That's the first. No, that's not. That's the second song by Primus I ever heard was Tommy the Cat. First one I think was off of. I can't remember the name of it. It was off of Frizzle Fry. Seen them a bunch of times in person. What musicians those guys are is
unreal.
I know, right? And you're just like, wow.
I always tell
sex cult. Me too. This is why KY Jelly's still in business.
Gross. Yeah.
Seas of Cheese, Tim Bristol's favorite. Yeah, probably.
You would like it. Some people, like Primus, for example, bro, don't make no more music, okay? Save some talent for the rest of us. You're just over there, burning through all your strings, all your drum heads.
Claypool is why I stopped playing bass.
Yeah, like,
where were you when we were looking for a bass player for my band? Fuck.
Like, there's just no point at that point.
Player.
Or I'll throw on some Animals as leaders, and I'm like, oh yeah, give up. That's what I'm supposed to get from this song. Give up forever.
Here they come. There they go. Here come the bastards. What a great tune. I think my favorite Primus tune, or at least it's kind of hard because Tommy the Cat is right at the top for me. Another one is Southbound Pachyderm. That's probably one of my favorite tunes by Primus. Just that.
What's the race car driver one?
Jerry was a race car driver. Jerry was a race car driver. Old Diamondback Sturgeon's pretty good too. Yeah, what a song. And when I saw one, I think the third time I saw Primus was at one of the Lollapaloozas.
Yeah.
And I still have one of the paper bag brown one, that one with Soundgarden and Pearl Jam, and it had the weird circly thing in the middle of it. I still have one of those that I actually got from the event itself. And, I looked up one of those things on like eBay, and they're like $600 or some shit. Like, what the hell? Are you kidding me? Like anywhere from $400 to $600, I think I've seen them. Might
Who's
even be
buying
more
that?
Now. Oh, I don't know.
The 90s restaurant. Just down the way. They're like, I have to have that. It goes in the budget, Jerry.
Exactly.
Don't you want the race car driver poster, Jerry?
Brown Album. That's what known as Big Brown Beaver. That's a fun tune, too. But I kind of like all their earlier stuff. I think the most because that's when they kind of let less just go fucking hog wild. Pork soda, hog wild. I get it, Neil. But anyway, yeah. Toolsmith likes Primus too. Yes, Toolsmith does like Primus.
I respect Primus.
What a fantastic stream you guys have here. Well, I'm glad you like it, Little Horn. It usually isn't like this. Usually we have people that call in, and we know. And I've been called the Canadian Matt Dillahunty before. I told Matt that, and he's like, "I'm so sorry." Because when I did the line with him a couple of times, well, the second time I told him about that, and he just started laughing. He's like, "I'm so sorry." Florida is all over Toronto. Yeah, I kind of figured as much. It's hockey. Florida and Toronto are playing for getting into
the
the
Leafs
final
and the
round.
Predators.
Yes.
I know hockey. Look, I just named those two teams without looking it up.
Without looking it up.
Which you could have done.
But Little Horn, if you go over to my channel, which is Neil the 604 Atheist, usually I do deconversion stories. And we do stuff like what Mikey and I, Mikey's my co-host on that, by the way.
Hello.
And we usually do stuff like this in the after party as well. And the interviews are pretty fun too. At least every person we've had on has come back to me and said, that was a lot of fun, you guys. Thank you so much for having me. So,
except
we
for
do
that
stuff
one
like
guy.
Except we won't name names, dick.
That one dude.
Oh no! Yeah, the guy with all the fucking weird.
The one guy. There was just one guy.
Everything was fine in the beginning, and then he just veered off to the weird side. I'm like,
he got so
what?
mad. He got so mad at me.
I know he did.
I don't know why. I was being nice. I was being mostly nice. He was just lying. He was lying.
Night, mostly.
He was lying. And that's not my fault. He shouldn't lie if he doesn't want to get called out.
Lincoln Hogan. Oh, you say I look like? Oh, I've been called Hulk Hogan before, so I'm. It's usually when kids see me, I look like a pirate.
R.
When other adults see me, I look like a biker.
I.
Somewhere in there, people have said, "Yeah, you gotta look like Hulk Hogan." So, I guess you don't support the Constitution and the First Amendment. What? What does that even mean?
What was that about?
What does that mean?
We might have walked past the joke, so.
I don't. Oh, the shepherd's boy sounds like a religious person. Sounds like another conned human being. Hey, shepherd's boy, God is a scam. Don't be a victim.
Now I want shepherd's pie.
Yeah, the number's kind of screwed right now, so you kind of got to go through Discord or whatever. But I'm not going to be around here for too much longer, so if you want to talk, you best get in there now.
So they ask, why does one deconvert?
Want to deconvert? Well, why don't you go and check out my channel and see one of the almost 600 interviews that I've done with people, many of them ex-pastors and priests and whatnot, and they'll tell you why. I'd
say about a quarter. I'd say about a quarter of the people have like either gone through seminary or were like on their way to do like higher level, like learning in the study of religions. So these were well-read Christians that have been on the show.
Little Horn, biker, pirate, hobo. Yeah, I've never been called a hobo, but yeah, I get that. Yes. Not a deflection. People, you want, if you want to hear why people, that's the best way is to go listen to the stories and they'll tell you why they leave.
There's more than one answer.
I liken it to, I think, Wizard of Oz is a great example because once you see behind the curtain and you see everything that's behind the great head in the sky that has the deep voice and yada yada, you can't go back to believing that the wizard's real anymore, right? So I think you just come to some point in your life. And I don't, honestly, dude, I don't think I ever really believed. I wanted to, I tried to, I even prayed for people, stuff like that when I was a kid. Mind you, I was raised as a Jew. And Christianity, by the way, the shepherd, Christianity cannot be the right religion. It can't be the number one. Because I was born to Christians, but given up for adoption and raised as a Jew. So clearly God steered me to the correct religion, right?
He would have.
You saw behind the curtain and he's real. Oh, okay. Do you have evidence for that, or is that just your personal feelings and stuff? Because feelings aren't evidence.
Link the video to what is behind said curtain. I would love to take a look at it. And I mean, like, it's easy to say,
Multiple
like,
reasons.
it's easy to say, like, peeking behind the curtain and kind of like if we use like analogy to kind of like,
oh boy,
describe larger things.
Read
but,
the screen, Mike. The shroud is the evidence. You know, the shroud that they debunked.
Yeah, this is what I mean. This is what I
Science
mean.
debunked that. Sorry, pal.
It's okay. I mean, because like at the end of the day, I don't want anything from you. And I think that's where a lot of people find themselves in like an awkward situation, because like they're trying desperately to convince me of something that I could care less about. So like, just like I know that everyone doesn't care about, I don't know, what's up here nearby, like the Street Fighter 6 tournament. There is not a lot I can do to make you care about that. Some people, they might care. They might be already playing that game and they might be able to get, I can get them interested in it pretty easily. Maybe they played Street Fighter 5. So, there's a 6. Oh, cool. I'm interested in it. But most people don't care, man. And that's kind of where you guys are. And you just kind of have to recognize that that's kind of where you're at. You're trying, like, this is your hobby and you're really trying to force it on other people. And because you've convinced yourself that you've seen evidence, now everyone is obligated to treat that like it happened. That's strange. And like, I can't just dictate that the world respects Street Fighter 6 more because I really like it. Like, I won a couple times and it was really a good experience. So I felt a real experience playing that game. So everyone must take this game more seriously because I felt something. That's strange, right? That would be weird if one person's experience mattered that much.
Also, everyone has an opinion, is what you said. Everyone has an opinion? Sure, yeah. But is your opinion based in actual facts, or do you form your facts from your opinions? Because you say you gave truth. Well, right. I don't see the truth in that. I have yet to see anything that convinces me that there are any deities. And there have been hundreds of thousands proposed by humans throughout our history. Yours isn't the first. It's actually one of the newer ones.
What is his flavor? What's your flavor over there, Shepard? What's your flavor? So I can address you correctly.
I don't know.
What's
facts
like
from reality? No, you're not getting your facts from reality, sport. I can tell you that.
What's your religious flavor, guy? Let's get that sorted first. Then they'll be like, I believe in all of the gods and none of the gods.
Village idiot. Truth can be substantiated. That's right. Yeah, truth can be investigated, substantiated, falsified, whatever you want. None of the stuff that you have produced. Well, actually, the shroud was falsified, so they already know that it wasn't the shroud of Jesus. We already know that. DNA doesn't replicate faster than the fastest computer on Earth.
What are you talking about?
That's not how DNA works. DNA shares information, but that's how when you have a child, your DNA is shared with the child, both you and your partner.
That would be cute.
So we're teaching pigs to sing. Yeah, apparently. Here's a pig singing. Yeah, there you go. I can't do that right now.
The pig squeals. That's part of the early 2000s hardcore scene.
Ah.
Good old pig squeals. So are you going to tell us which so I can address you, Shepherd's Boy, which religion is your religion?
John is here. Oh, no. Is that fucking... What's that? Who there? Where? What?
We have a call. John.
You?
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. How are you?
Pretty good. How are you guys doing?
Good.
Well, I'm about to lose a friend, but other than that, I'm fine.
Nah, you won't lose me. I'm not one of those people.
No. No,
Something
I have a
else.
friend that's in hospice right now. So
Oh, geez. Sorry about that.
thank you.
Sorry to hear about that.
Well, thank you. So what did you want to talk to us about?
I think it is rational to believe that there is an afterlife. And I also think that, as a second point, if you don't believe in free will, which I think a lot of atheists don't, I don't know your guys' position on this yet, but I think if you don't believe in free will, then it's hard to argue that Christians or any other group should be held accountable for anything, really. So you choose which one you want me to focus on.
I don't. Okay. I don't. What do you mean by held accountable? Held accountable for what?
Well, I mean, for anything, really. I would say if there's no free will, there's really no basis for any morality. Because if everything was already predetermined from the moment of the Big Bang, then we're just arguing, about
So like
which
that
group of atoms interacted with group of atoms.
So you're saying like that butterfly already flapped its wing to make that hurricane, so that was going to happen regardless.
Yeah, I notice in particular a lot of atheists argue, well, there's no free will, and ultimately everything is already predetermined due to the laws of physics after the Big Bang, etc.
I don't necessarily believe that.
Okay, so you would argue that we do have free will?
Yeah.
I would. My position might be slightly different. I believe, as being in the sciences myself, I believe that. I believe we have convinced ourselves that we have a form of free will. I like to think that I believe have free will.
We have the concept of free will.
However, what neuroscience has demonstrated through experimentation is that your brain makes a decision on something before you even realize you've made the decision.
Right.
So, and that bases that information that isn't always so in a human being's life. Like when you're first born and up to your first year, you're learning things, right? So then your brain starts to circulate patterns that you tend to do. So it makes decisions based on what it learns over your lifetime. And when you hit adulthood, it'll make the decisions before because it knows your patterns, we'll say. As for, but I still think we have free will in a sense because we're still making those decisions, even if they're based on previous stuff.
I think it's more of like a language kind of crutch. Like for whatever we would mean for free will, I think we would, because like, I think like, you know what I'm saying? Like outside factors that you haven't considered not influencing your choice doesn't influence your choice. So as far as your choice making, like you as the like observer, you as the actor in it, you think you're doing it. So if you think you're doing it, you think you're doing it. Like if there are days where I am convinced it is Wednesday, it is not Wednesday that day. But for that first hour of the day, I was moving and shaking as if it was Wednesday. So, language is weird, you know.
But I would kind of push back on that though, because I think if you are a materialist, which I would assume as an atheist you would be, right? Then
what's in front of me is in front of me.
Yeah, I mean, at the moment of the Big Bang or whatever brought us into existence, if that is driven by the laws of physics, right? Then ultimately, once we have a complete unified theory, once we've unified all the forces of nature into one equation, then it's kind of hard to argue free will survives, because post Big Bang, it's just the expression of this equation or this force.
Oh, I see what you mean. Sure. And you could look at it that way, yeah.
Yeah, so what I would say is it's hard to argue. I mean, I would say to argue, I think most atheists that I've interacted with, or most people who don't hold a religion, would be anti-free will, like Alex O'Connor, Sam Harris, people like that believe there is no free will. So you guys believe there is free will, which is kind of interesting. I was not expecting that.
I would say I think that we have some kind of version of it. At least
Okay.
it would appear to us, like from our own experience and perspective, it would appear that I have a choice here. What should I choose? Well, I'm going to make choice A or choice B. Choice B looks more appealing to me, but my brain already knows that choice B would look appealing to me. So it already makes the decision. And then I just come out and say, I'm going to have this one or do this one or whatever.
Well, I guess the question I would have is if your brains are driven by atoms and those atoms are
Which they
ultimately
are.
driven, yeah, and if your atoms are ultimately driven by the laws of physics, right? Then from the moment of the Big Bang, really whatever decision you were going to make was already pre-prescribed because it's just the unfolding nature
Possibly.
of this already existing equation, right?
But I would say it's more of like in the percentages kind of game, almost like a quantum kind of thing. Because there's things that definitely could happen, and then there's things that definitely could not happen. Like there isn't gonna be a morning where I wake up and I can just Superman out of bed, go through the ceiling, and like that is not in my realm of possibility. I might
also not in the realm
choose
of physics either. So that's not
right.
happening.
So and the laws of physics also get in the way of that. So I think all of these things, if there is some super cool Terrence Howard theory of everything, or 1 × 1 = pineapple, I mean that would be sick, and I'm excited to see it. And then it would be fun to see how we can exploit that and have fun with it. But for now, with our regular everyday physics that we try to explain, that's where I'm at.
Okay, but I would I'll kind of pivot to my other point about the afterlife, since we're kind of neutral on free will, or it's not really something that we can prove one way or the other. I would argue we do have free will, but you guys would argue we have free will, but it's more limited. Like we don't have libertarian free will in the sense we can do anything, but we have some sort of
I don't
like
know what that means.
well, like means like you can't fly, like you couldn't like grow wings and fly, right? So
Unassisted.
yeah, yeah.
I can get on a plane or I could strap myself to a kite.
Dude, don't say that too loud. Red Bull might hear us and put somebody off of like a slingshot from a rocket off of a hot air balloon.
Trebuchet.
Okay.
Woo-hoo.
Well, let me kind of pivot to my argument for an afterlife, and you guys can kind of tear it apart or see if there's any holes in my argument here.
I made a note.
Yeah.
You said it was rational that there is an afterlife.
Yeah, I think I could make a coherent argument, even from a strictly materialist viewpoint, that an afterlife is possible. Actually, likely.
Oh, I'd like to hear this.
Okay, so if the only example you have of you being conscious, at some point in the past you weren't conscious before you were born. Can we recognize that? Okay.
Yep, absolutely.
So if the only example you have of you becoming conscious is you going from nothing to being aware or being conscious, then
I have to hold on for one quick second. One of the issues I have with arguments that say, well, you coming from nothing, the problem is there is no such thing as nothing. Everywhere we have looked, we have found something, right down to quantum foam. So there is no such thing as nothing. Something is there, and something comes from something. There's no nothing.
Okay, so let's say that. Let me rephrase it. So
sperm, egg, combined.
Yeah. So
you get me.
Let's say that you came from quantum foam or quantum fluctuation or whatever into existing. I think the burden of proof would be on you to show why that wouldn't happen again. So why? Well, what I would say is, why would you not assume that you will come from this quantum foam or this nothingness or this whatever it is again? Why would you assume it only happened this one time?
Well, first of all, I don't assume that because I don't know enough about that in order to make an assumption. What I do know is I'll never be what you are interacting with right here, right now. I'll never be that again.
Why not?
Maybe the same atoms that were in my body, which, by the way, they change. You have different molecules in your body than you did 7 years ago, FYI. So these molecules and atoms that are in my body when I die, the energy that was once me will, if I get buried, then I become energy for the food and for the fauna and the flora that I got energy from, that I consumed in my lifetime. If I'm cremated, my atoms will be scattered back out into the universe, probably bounce around within our atmosphere for a while, and then maybe go out. Those are possibilities. That you can also be frozen into a tablet and used as fertilizer too. Apparently, that's an option now, which is kind of cool.
Ugh,
But what
the ice zombies from Game of Thrones, man. I mean, it's right there. Just doing it for them.
The problem I have is when people say that there's an afterlife. First I have to ask, like, what do you mean by an afterlife? Are you saying that because I don't believe souls exist. I can't believe that, because what would a soul be? What would it be made out of? You're muted. Sorry, John, you're muted. I can't hear you.
Okay, let me give you my definition of a soul. I also saw
Policy of origins. There you go.
Yeah,
right there.
I also saw some comments saying, quantum foam into existing. I wasn't saying it came from quantum foam for certain. I'm just saying something created us, okay? Whatever it was, some force, some law, whatever it ended up being, right? But what I would say is that the way I view the soul is, like you said, your atoms are switching in and out of existence. Like the same part, like the
Not
same
mine
atoms that,
personally. They exist in me now, so they're not going
yeah.
in and out of
Well,
existence.
like your molecules are constantly switching in and out. Like your
They replace.
they're
Shedding
replaced, right?
cells.
They're recycled. So what I would say is that the real continuity that you are is your pattern, and that's not really a even a religious claim. Even if you look at people like Max Tegmark, he'll talk about how the reason you have some sense of continuity with who you are is because the pattern of the atoms that make you up is the same. Like the atoms might switch out, but the organization of the atoms remains. And that's why, like, if you lose a chunk of your brain, you think different thoughts and interact with the world differently,
yeah,
because the pattern has changed. So what I would say is that the soul is really an organization of information. So it's an organization of your atoms. So the soul, there's this saying by, I think it was Aquinas. He said, the soul is in the body, yes, but not as being contained by it, but rather containing it. So it's not like smoke off a fire that when you die, there's some sort of like energy that is lifted off. But what the soul really is the pattern of your body. So in that sense, what I would say is, if the universe is infinite into the future, which I think is what most theories posit, that they're actually
It's about half and half.
okay, let's say it's half and half. But what I would say is that if there is an infinite future, well, if the universe came from, would you agree that the universe came from some sort of that there are other universes, multiverse?
I don't know that we know enough of that. Like, I get that we're having the conversation. It's boring if I just say, we don't know. You know what I mean? And we just kind of like end it there. But I think we should show a little bit of deference to like some things that aren't knowable yet and that people are currently working on, so that like any kind of snap judgment on any particular from there is going to obviously have some holes in it, because we just don't know all of that stuff yet. Like, we haven't finished the science yet.
Well,
however, I can't remember. This is going back a few years, where I was watching something, one of them PBS Spacetime things, I think, and they were mentioning that they have seen what they are speculating, because that's really all you can do at the time, is there were these oddities that seem to be bouncing off of our cosmic microwave background, and they think that it might be the other bubble of another universe that's tapped us, like how bubbles float through space and then they bounce off each other. They think that is a possibility. I'm not saying for sure that it happened, but it kind of lent a little bit of strength to the multiverse theory.
So well, we got what gravity leaking through, and we got gravity in spots we're not supposed to, where it could be universes interacting, or
the
dark energy. Void. Yeah, like things are weird, and we don't know exactly what it is yet.
But just to add, just to kind of hone in on this, because this is kind of important to my argument, or at least part of my argument, is I think most of the scientists now would be on the side that there is a multiverse, because believing that this is the only universe that was created.
Well, we can't even use that language, Because we don't know if it was created. We don't know if it was just some sort of
believing this is the only eternal universe or the only created universe or the only universe that currently exists. That's a broader claim, I would say, than believing that there's a multiverse. Like, I think the scientific literature now would indicate that there probably is more than one universe. So,
okay, I have a question for you then. If we're going to go with a multiverse theory, then
okay,
what would be the point of creating multiverses? Like, even our universe, at least, well, what we call the seeable universe, anyways. Like, what we
and that was the other.
we
That
don't
was the
know.
other. That was the other definitional thing I was going to harp on. It's like
Observable. Pardon me.
Yeah,
observable.
you know what I mean? Like, which universe definition do you mean? Because again, language is squishy and it doesn't really apply to these concepts in a way that's functional all the time. Because the universe is literally anything you anything you can see, could have seen, or ever interacted with, right? So there's certain places that are probably would be seeable, but they're not in your universe because they're in the orbit of a black hole. That's not in your universe, like the inside that orbit, but we don't call it that. You know what I mean?
There's a theory that we actually exist inside of a black hole too.
well, but what I guess what I would say is I didn't argue that there was a point. Right now, I'm just focused on the idea that I can make a coherent argument for an afterlife or that you will exist again, given even our existing scientific explanation of the universe. So even without a multiverse, right? I think it would be hard to argue that your atoms that exist in their current.
Look at that.
Oh, thank you.
Says thank you, John, for being one of the best calls since I've been helping.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Skeptic Haven. I appreciate it. But what I would say is that I think the idea that your atoms would not form again in the same form that in the same configuration that they currently take, I think that's actually unlikely. Because if there's a multiverse, or if there is this endless creative bubble, quantum, whatever you want to call it, why would you not eventually come back? Why would you not eventually be constituted again in the same grouping of atoms? Given that you already recognized you didn't exist in the past, but you exist now, why would that not happen again?
Even if it did happen, John, we wouldn't know. Because if I did exist before this, I don't remember any of that.
Well, I didn't say you had to remember, but I said, but I'm just positing that it's possible you could exist again.
Sure.
Well, then
but
I
that's
already
pointless,
existed
though.
then at that point.
Like,
I've
it
already
doesn't
existed a
seem to
million
help
times.
The
then.
argument is my point.
Well, I think no, but I think this is just stage one of the argument, right? Stage one of the argument is at least you're
Infinite
willing to
me's. Okay.
Well, at least you're
parallel worlds. That's
at least you're willing to grant the argument that it is possible that you would exist again, even if you're not aware of it, any past existences you had. So
I don't think I will. Personally,
No,
but you don't think, but you can understand the logic in my argument. Like, it's not completely out of the world that it's possible.
but then I have to argue you through the definitions of who I am.
I can only go with what we have examples of, and there's no examples of that.
But I would say what you are is the constitution of your atoms, and those atoms will reform in the same pattern that they currently are constituted in.
And that's the only thing, just the atoms? Because that's like saying, well, is that even really possible? Maybe.
No, I can answer that right now. There is no possible way that the atoms that are currently in you are going to reform in the same way. It just won't happen.
Well, it doesn't have to be the same atoms. It just has to be the same pattern. It just has to be atoms
is it?
No, I think it would be. No, because you're not your atoms. You are the pattern your atoms are taking.
And those atoms specifically.
Our consciousness is
what happened?
Our mind. Our consciousness is our mind, which is constructed of atoms, etc., etc. Okay, it's not something that's in order for your consciousness to somehow leave your body or whatever, the atoms or whatever, it would mean it would have to be separated from your physical body, and it just isn't.
Well, but here's what I would say though to kind of push back on that idea, right? So there's a lot of debate as to if we made a copy of you right? So we took your brain and we scanned it down to the Planck scale, whatever, right? And
That's a big concession on our part though, no? Like that's the miracle here, right? Is to have that copy, like to have that duplicate, even if it's just for a thought experiment. Like that's the miracle big ask that you're asking us to concede to as step one. So that's why I'm trying to get definitions and I'm trying to be reasonable about it, but you're already asking for magic.
well, what? No,
Right.
I'm not asking for magic at all. I mean, all I'm asking is that if you'll grant me that your brain is an organization of atoms, there's a pattern that is what you are. You're a pattern of atoms. If you'll grant me that, which I think is a given, right? Then the only
Well,
question
we are
is,
patterns of atoms. That everything in my room is a pattern of atoms.
No. Not only are we a pattern of atoms, but we are a copyable pattern of atoms. And that is
so
also what you're asking to concede. And I don't
No,
know that
no.
I am a copyable set of Control C, Control V atoms. I don't know that.
So we can clone people. Yes, we.
Yeah,
I know. We can
I mean,
Well,
you
I'm
can
not- I'm not-
clone people, but
I'm not-
that's two
clones have
separate.
souls?
Those two separate things, though. You know.
well, but I'm not talking about what I'm trying to indicate is that if you are a pattern of atoms, and we recognize that, why, given an infinite timescale, would those atoms not reform in the same way that they are now?
Well, first of all, we don't know that there's an infinite timeline, and we'll never know. As humans, we'll never know if there's an infinite timeline.
Okay, but there doesn't need to really be necessarily an infinite timeline. If you recognize that this universe was always there or created, as long as that process will take place in other places, eventually there will be a pattern of atoms that constitutes itself in the same way that you're constituted now, given infinite creation. Unless you're positing this universe is the only one we're going to get.
So I think
The only one I'll ever be a part of. Let's put it that way.
So
How?
Let me know if this is different. Is it crazy for there to be a bipedal humanoid race on another planet around another star? I think sure that can happen. Is one of them identical to me? I don't know. I feel like, you know what I'm saying? Like I feel like that's the
Probably
difference.
not.
You know what I mean? I feel like
Probably
that's
not even they, but probably
could it
this
be
is what I had-
possible? I
Problem
don't
I
even
had
think
with Star
so.
Trek,
You know?
right? They're all bipedal hominid-looking aliens. I don't
Yeah,
think that
yeah.
this
Well, I
pattern
guess-
is going to be repeated everywhere. They're probably going to be
Yeah.
cephalopod type beings or puddles of goo type beings.
You know
or
the cephalopods are
plant
waiting.
people. You know, like that's the sort of thing. But listen, okay, so according to, I'm reading a little something by Dr. Carroll, Sean Carroll. The laws of the universe do not allow these particles to operate after our physical demise. Claims that some form of consciousness persists after our bodies die and decay into their constituent atoms and electrons face one huge, insuperable obstacle: the laws of physics underlying everyday life. And they're completely understood, and there's no way within those laws to allow for the information stored in our brains to persist after we die.
Well, wait, but that's that's arguing against an argument I feel like I didn't make. I didn't claim that you would know it was you again.
Okay.
I didn't claim that the exact same atoms would constitute you again. What I'm claiming is that any pattern of atoms that is
And
any
electron.
any group of atoms that is constituted any group of atoms that is constituted in the same pattern you currently exhibit.
They could.
Why would that not be you?
You could take all the atoms in my body right now. Let's say we removed all the atoms in my body and I cease to exist. You could take all these atoms and electrons that make up me, and you could turn them into another Yeti microphone if you wanted to.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So, okay. That's not me.
But what if we took the atoms and reconstituted them in the exact same pattern that you are?
Then you
Why
just
would-
cloned me.
But
I think living
that's
creatures
you.
are-
That's what I'm saying. That's you.
Right, but how is that an afterlife?
It is
Because I'd
because
be alive again.
it would that being that is made of those atoms that are in the same pattern as you would make the same choices you would make. Would
Well,
make
we don't know that.
That's what I'm saying.
How would
We
it
don't know
not?
that. Because
How?
it might be me atomically.
Because it might live
but
in
we
a
don't know
different
if its brain would be wired the same way.
It might live in a different city, so of course it's going to make different choices.
Well, yeah, but
have you heard of quantum field theory?
I've heard of it, but I'm not familiar with what it is.
Okay. All the particles that we know of have their own field. Okay. So any particles that were once you are a part of a specific field. All the atoms and the electrons in your body are part of specific fields. So it's first of all, it's unlikely that those particles that make you up now
That's what I'm saying. Like the chance
are ever going to be reconstructed.
Even
the
if you
same
put
way
them
to look
together,
like
it doesn't like you'd have to have a
infinitesimally small,
like a femto snapshot of you every instant, because it's a constantly moving cloud buzz fuzzy thing of stuff. So
Okay,
like I'm struggling with even like making a copy of that. Like that is we don't know. You know, like that's like how many Googles of time are we waiting until that happens? You know what I mean?
Well,
like,
I think
like
Google's not that big a number.
Not to
a huge
go
number.
Not to go into the comment section, but one of the commenters, Bree Badger, made a
Hi, Bree.
comment. I mean, technically, no, I'm not the same exact person I was when I was 7. I remember being 7, but I'm a very different person now than I was then, not just developmental either. And I would agree with that. And I think that strengthens my argument that the constitution of atoms that could make up this future form, it doesn't need to be exactly you to be you. That's where the burden would be on your part, I think, because we
to
see
prove
change.
that I'm me.
Yeah, I don't think it has to. I don't think you. I think you're constraining you to your particular grouping of atoms at this moment in time, when I don't think that is necessarily what I'm arguing.
It just kind of, when you have one of those eureka moments where you're like, could have had a V8 type thing. That's an old commercial, by the way. We're talking about patterns of atoms, which is completely different of having the exact same atoms inside you.
Yes.
You could have completely different atoms that could make the same pattern, but you'd be a completely different person.
I don't necessarily think we know that, though. Like, I think
we
don't
know that.
We do know that. I don't necessarily.
I know we know.
How would you know that? Because atoms, if all atoms are operating using the same mathematical function or whatever, why would those atoms being formed in the same pattern not be equivalent to other atoms being formed in the same pattern?
Because whatever these atoms are forming is something different. The atoms in this one, although they're all they look identical, they behave identically, are not the same ones that are in this. There are different atoms in here, different atoms in the sponge thing, different atoms in the pin that I've got here, because they all can't be in the same place at once. So they're totally different atoms in everything, different atoms in my smartphone.
Okay, so let's just...
The availability of the atoms has to go into account for, you know what I mean?
Okay, let's say, so I couldn't... I'll grant you this. I could not prove to you that the pattern will reconstitute itself in the future, and that would also be what I would define as you. I define you as the grouping of atoms that you are. I don't think it has to be the exact same atoms in order to be you. You guys do think it has to be the same. We can diverge on that point. But here's another argument for an afterlife I'll give you, right? So let's say, given the advancement of technology, which we see in our everyday lives, I think it's very possible, and this would be more of an eternal afterlife than one where you're being where you're being reincarnated necessarily, right? So let's say, given enough time, enough technological advancement, why would it not be possible to necessarily download your consciousness, into another medium, like into a machine? If that is in principle possible, which I think it might be, and a lot of techno people argue it is. A lot of serious people argue it is. Ray
I'm sure they do.
Kurzweil. Well, but why would
now you're talking about that's a totally different fallacy.
How's it a fallacy?
Because that's what's the name of that? Somebody help me out in the chat. I can't remember the name.
Argument from authority.
No, argument from I want to say popularity, but that's not it.
You'll see how it's right. It'll come to you in a second.
It's like, well,
but go ahead. Go ahead with
It's the same fallacy as when people say, well, so 2 billion plus people believe in this religion, therefore it must be true. So I can't remember what the hell the name of that ad populum. Thank you.
Well, no, I'm not arguing that because I would argue it's not really a popular belief. I'd say most people don't believe in what I'm saying right now, but just to kind of continue,
why bring it up?
Well, it doesn't have to be believed by a lot of people to necessarily be true.
That's true.
Right? So the reason I bring it up is because I think it's a strong argument. So to kind of build on this, right?
I don't think they'll ever be able to do that, by the way.
But given our advancement in technology, right? So I'm only 25 years old, right? When I was 14 years old, I was using a flip phone, right? Yeah. And now fast forward only, 10 years later, I have a 3D printer. I have an iPhone capable of doing all sorts of things, email, text message, everything, right? I can watch a video. I can communicate with you right now, which I'm doing. So that advancement in technology.
Do you think that's going to be like a continued curve?
I think it will be, because when you look at a lot of technological advancements,
I'm not laughing at you, but somebody said something funny in the chat. It's hysterical. 9 months before I was born, I went to a party with my dad and left with my mom. That's pretty fun.
But what I would say though is that if you extrapolate out technological advancements, which have been happening, I don't think it would be unreasonable to assume that eventually, given even 1,000 years, that it would be possible to preserve your consciousness in a medium that does not experience the same decay that organic matter does.
Couple of things here. Let's say I cede everything you just said. Do you think it's ethical to do so?
I'm not
a follow-up. Do you think it's worth the cost to whatever society or whoever is doing it to maintain these digital beings? And what happens if you can't afford to keep the generator running and you have to turn that off? Would you say that would be killing that person?
Well, I'm not necessarily arguing the ethics of it, because I'm more focused on whether it's possible or not. But in terms of my ethical opinion on it, I think that in the future, we'll be able to use energy much more efficiently. And I think we will have renewable forms of energy that are capable of giving people low cost energy for very cheap, if not, so what I would say is that it'll be a different equation than if we were asking the question now. So what the point I'm trying to make is that if technology continues to advance in the way it is, I think it would be possible to eventually download or upload or move your consciousness into another medium that does not experience the same degree of decay that you currently do. And once that is possible, if you just extrapolate the existing technology out 50, 100, 1,000 years, however long it takes, eventually it will be possible for your consciousness or your ability to control a body. It could be a robotic body, it could be nanotechnology, who knows what it's going to be, that thing could exist indefinitely, potentially forever.
And is that a good thing?
Well, I don't know whether it's a good thing. I'm not really arguing whether it's good or bad. I'm just arguing
I'm asking you.
Well, I would argue, yeah, I think it's a fine thing.
I would not want to live forever. Because I don't want to be around when the universe ends.
And how many of those do you think we should keep forever until we are littered? You know what I mean? Like with trillions of these things that just refuse to, and they're just going to be annoying, uninteresting things clouding up the digital, the future internet. And then at what point do you start turning those off? So it's like, I hear what you're saying, but have you thought of it past like step 3 or step 5? Like, is this even a future that not only is it attainable, but is it worth attaining? Is that something that anyone would want?
Well, I mean, what I would say is that at that point, I think it would be up to the individual. If an individual was in a robotic body, it would be up to them to decide that they want to die. Like, they would be able to make that decision to turn themselves off or to no longer exist. So I think, yes, it would be moral because the people who were in that situation could choose to no longer exist voluntarily. But what I would say is, the point I'm making is I would constitute that as an afterlife. If we eventually reach the point where you can download your consciousness into another medium that can exist forever, indefinitely, I think it's hard to argue that's not eternity. Like, I think that's a strong argument that there is a technological possibility of an afterlife.
We don't even know if it's plausible yet, John.
I wouldn't consider that life.
Let alone
I wouldn't consider that humanity. It might be artificial life, maybe. I'll give you that definition, maybe. But that's not you. You know what I mean? And I think it sucks that humans die. You know, it sucks that we can't like rock out and then get in a spaceship and back off when the sun expands and all that. Like, we're gonna miss all that. But that's what makes now important, you know? And that's pretty much all we can really glean from all of this. Trying to preserve consciousness forever. No one outside of us cares about us. There are no other planets like, oh man, I hope the Earthlings just preserve themselves long enough. So no one cares.
Well, I think you seem to be focused on more so the morality or the ethics or the because
I'm a father.
Well, yeah, but what I would say is I'm more focused on whether it's possible, because my primary argument is I'm trying to argue that it is possible we could reach a state technologically that we can live forever, and that is an eternity, that is an afterlife. If you want to redefine it to not be an afterlife,
I wouldn't call it an afterlife.
How?
Because you didn't die.
Well, I think you died in your old medium. Your body was.
Then you're already in your afterlife. Every 7 years you have.
If you're
an
alive
afterlife.
through it, if you live through all of that, you're still alive. And let's say, because I watched what's his name, Adam Savage from MythBusters did a whole thing on the first 1,000-year-old man, because he was able to replace all his organs and stuff like that with biomechanical ones, mechanical ones, etc. His bones and stuff he could replace, and he was the first man to ever hit 1,000 years of age. And if that's what you mean by an afterlife, that's not an afterlife because he's still alive.
Okay, well,
the him that started out, but it's still him.
Well, we can redefine it. Okay, it's a heaven. It's a heaven.
Well, I don't know about that. We'll see.
You're alive. You are alive. Your body no longer decays.
No, it still decays, but you can replace all the stuff that decays.
It still decays, but you can replace what is decaying constantly to the point where it's not really decaying because you're replacing it, or it's evolving faster than it's decaying. So you're living forever. That's a heaven.
If you want to give it that name, that's fine. If that's what works for you, I wouldn't do that though.
Hey, that works. Hey, if you're willing to grant that it's possible to live forever given technological advancement, I'll take that as a win. Fair enough.
Yeah, but that's not really an argument because we already know that that's already in the works.
You're literally saying, I want a space Star Wars space magic miracle technology, and then I can live forever. Like, it's just the same thing. It's techno Jesus. It's the same. You are begging for a miracle first, and then I'll give you the evidence. Like, that's what it is. And I smelled it in the beginning. Your initial premise is flawed. You want a technological miracle first, which you're just giving the vastness of time forever, that technology will always advance, which a lot of times it doesn't. And if you take a look around, a lot of science is about to go bye-bye. A lot of funding for a lot of science is going to go bye-bye. Civilizations, which is why I keep asking you about the ethics and the morals of things, because it turns out are super important to whether or not your society survives long enough to even have a tech boom. So there's that. And if this is largely going to be oligarchs putting themselves onto hard drives, it's not going to last very long, because oligarchs have a horrible habit of being eaten by the proletariat. So I don't know that what you're saying is possible. It's definitely not doable. Not on this planet.
Well, I think that's more of a, I think that's a strong claim that all of a sudden technological progress is going to cease, especially given the advancements we've seen over the last 200 years. I mean, why would you assume? Why would you assume it's going to stop? Years? Why would you assume it's going to stop, though?
So what's the next thing that everyone is investing in right now?
Probably 3D printing, robotics, things like that.
Yeah, robotics, I would say, for sure.
No, I think you left out the number one place that is eating up all the funding in every single scientific and venture capital firm. It's AI. And what is AI essentially but a plagiarizing bot that is great at pattern recognition? This is going to be great for the capitalists. There isn't going to be this great boom in all of the sciences. That money is being eaten up by AI. So we might get some stars named quickly, which is awesome. And they can sort and catalog those for us and get some distances. I'm glad about that. But other than that, brother, the science is STEM is getting snuffed right now, and that's not only a U.S. It's not only a U.S. thing. Like, the political landscape is very important to the scientific future that you imagine. And I'm just wondering, have you considered any of that?
I think it's a fair point that you're making. What you're essentially positing is that, given the existing political landscape, that
all it's not just here now, but this happens all the time, where dictators come and go and civilizations and empires fall.
Yeah, I said, that's why I said the political landscape we're experiencing now.
I'm not saying just this one. That's all. Go ahead. Sorry.
Well, yeah, the worldwide political landscape is such that technological advancement is not a guarantee. That's essentially your argument, right?
It can be counter. What if there are crusades and they start eating the scientists?
Well, but I mean that's a big what if. I'm just saying that given
that never happened. That never happened. But there was a tech boom where people were able to download themselves. You're right. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, I didn't say it happened yet, nor that's not what I said. But what I'm saying is that, given the technological advancements we've seen over the last 200 years, it is plausible that if you extrapolate that out into the future, that eventually it will be possible to download your consciousness into another medium that will not experience the same degree of decay that you're currently experiencing.
Can I get a timeline on that? Can I get a prediction or a timeline on that? Maybe then I'll be less snarky.
I would say it depends. I mean, if you look at the advancements in artificial intelligence, if you look at, singularity theory, which is, that basically technology is advancing exponentially and computer processing power is doubling every 18 months, it's very possible this could happen even in 10 years. I mean, we don't know, but...
No, I'm not. I'm sorry, John. I'm not sighing at you. I just realized that apparently I cannot comment in the chat.
No.
I've been trying to, and it won't let me comment in the chat. I was gonna. Ollie was saying that Toronto is now down 6-1 to. We're Canadians. It's all about hockey. So is now down 6-1 to Florida.
Broke our flow for hockey scores.
Yes, I did. Right.
So
if I had any religion, it would be hockey.
So just to kind of summarize this part of the conversation, though, you're willing to grant that it's possible, maybe not probable, but possible, that if technology...
Plausible. You got to think plausible first. Then if we figure out if it's even plausible, then you can go on to probable and possible.
I would say it's plausible that, given the continuation and advancement of technology that it would be possible for you to live forever in a
Fuck you,
non-biological
Elliot.
medium.
Sorry.
What'd you say?
I was just swearing at my friend Elliot in the chat there. Saying, quit being so damn Canadian. Sorry, eh?
I'm not sure that you're gonna get the future you want, my friend. I just don't think it's going to happen. You're
a nice
forgetting.
thought.
There's capitalism, dog. Like, it's not going down. Like, I wish you well, but you forgot about the boogeyman in the closet. As much as I love to read about dystopian futures, the best thing that taught me about protecting the present is history books.
So what about to kind of pivot to a different type of
I have to go.
Oh, okay.
John, I really enjoyed chatting with you. I think you've got some interesting ideas, and I think we should talk again. But
Thank you.
Unfortunately, I have to go. I'm expected elsewhere, and I'm already late. But I'll explain to them what was going on by the time I get there, and they'll be like, "All right, that's totally cool, dude." So, but John, I do want to thank you because, and I think these are conversations that are important to have too. Because
thank you.
Even if we're talking about technology and whether or not there is some kind of life after death, which I don't think there is, me personally, I've yet to see evidence of that. But to continue life using technology, that's kind of interesting to me and has been for some time.
Well, thank you for discussing some ideas with me. I appreciate it.
No problem, man. I'd like to have more chats with you. So you can pretty much find my channel, and you're welcome to. I guess you could even jump into an after party and chat with me and some other folks there about this sort of thing too at some point if you're up for it.
Thank you.
I'll try to not let the guys pile on you. Like
fair enough.
Because you seem like a pretty cool, pretty chill guy, John, and I appreciate you calling in and being that way with Mikey and I.
Thanks. I appreciate it. I just try to have, there's a lot of name calling in our existing landscape of debate, and it's kind of, it's not productive, and like you're not changing anybody's mind, or you just
exactly.
It's
Did I name call? I didn't name call.
No, I didn't say you did.
I was like, oh my God,
you're an idiot.
Shut up. Me? Okay, now that feels normal. Okay,
no.
I was like, oh, I don't think I call them names.
The time and the place for that.
I was like, I'll say sorry. I'd say sorry if I did that, but I don't.
You
think
did.
I
You did.
Okay,
but if you did, it was predetermined anyway. So I'm not offended by it.
There was nothing anyone could have done to prevent it.
Yeah, it was inevitable.
If you go by some of the new quantum physics stuff, where you can see the future and the past at the same time, then I'm all on board. The things would definitely be determined already, but that's a whole other ball of wax, folks, and we don't really have a lot of time to get into to this type of thing right now. Ways to Human would like to know, John, do you have a channel? Do you have a YouTube channel?
No, I don't have a channel. I don't currently engage in a lot of this is really like the first discussion I've ever joined. I just kind of got inspired because I have been I'm honored. Well, I have been exploring more like religious spaces, and I do consider myself a theist. I think, I used to be an agnostic, but I pivoted away from that because I had a direct experience. Obviously, non-transferable. I can't convince anybody of, but I went through the experience myself that convinced me that there was a God, essentially, and that's why I'm kind of passionate about trying to convince people that it's possible that there's an afterlife. In this discussion, I took a non-theistic approach. I took more of a materialist approach to try to get there, because I know that the theistic arguments are I'm not aware enough about like scripture or anything like that to try to and those are weaker arguments. I didn't lead with personal experience, because you could just say it was your brain coming, you had a it was an illusion, whatever, and pivot away. So I tried to go more materialist. Like, I'll argue just from strictly materialist, here's a possibility for an afterlife or an eternal life that So that was kind of the approach I took. But no, I don't have a channel.
Okay. If somebody wanted to chat with you, get in touch with, like I said, you can, you'll find my channel. It's just Neil the 604 Atheist. You'll see his and my ugly mug on there because we co-host the show together. and I do, what I do is deconversion stories, people that have left their belief systems behind. And I've had everyone from ex-Christians, ex-Jews, ex-Muslims, ex-Jains, ex-Buddhists, ex-white supremacists, ex-New Agers, all kinds.
What's the people that don't have the electricity?
Luddites?
No, Mary.
Oh, you mean Amish?
Amish, yes.
Yeah.
Even
anyway,
Amish.
And there's some pretty interesting things in there, but I can be reached through there or 604atheist@gmail.com if you ever want to just shoot the shit on something like Facebook or whatever. I'm not on Twitter anymore.
I'm pretty sure our socials should be in the description.
Yeah, I'll check it out. I'm really only on. Like 4 years ago, I deleted all my social media, which is
smart move.
Smart, just to kind of deprogram myself a little bit because I was getting kind of pulled into some,
weird spots, man,
radical kind of spaces where I just realized that it was kind of taking me in, so I kind of jumped out of that by just getting rid of it all. So I use YouTube still.
It didn't used to be like that.
No, it's definitely become more radicalized.
The old days.
Yeah, dude, back in like 2005, 2005 YouTube. Oh my God, it was glorious. No copyright strikes. Everybody just made hilarious shit.
You didn't have any. Yeah, it was like
awesome.
Chocolate Rain and all that.
Yeah, dude. All the memes came from that golden age. It was a golden. Yeah. We thought it would last 1,000 years.
Yeah, we're in the true. We're in the AI slop age. What I would say is a bunch of
slop trough.
Bunch of AI content is all garbage. A lot of it's all fake.
You'll never believe what happens at the end of this video.
It's because AI is so shiny and new, and people are playing with it all over the globe. Eventually, people are going to be like, "Okay, enough of this crap. Let's get back to making real content," and that will happen.
True.
Unfortunately, people are forgetting to know the difference, and I was going to bring that up in our talk too. Is what happens when the populace can't tell the difference anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
Guys? All right, have a good one.
Thanks again, John. Thanks to everyone in the chat for hanging out with us for today's show. I know we only had the one caller, but I thought John was a pretty cool guy. I think it was fun to have a chat about something like that. We totally took a different angle than I've ever taken when talking about theistic type things and afterlife and gods and whatnot. So I thought that was kind of unique, kind of different, and I enjoyed that. And Elliot was roasting me in the chat the entire time. I appreciate that. I would have it no other way. But I'd like to also
never read the chat.
I'd also like to send out a huge thanks to our awesome patrons and members. Our patrons are Paul Cammish, Karen Butcher, HellsBells, Logan Fisher, Amanda McLeod, Jamie West, Sydney Davis Jr., who actually I think has a new name now because she got married, Eric Ozels, Tara S., Rion, D. Murphy, Dan D., Shannon Gray, Michael Wiseman, Bass Thrasher, Bryce Roney, Jenna Miu, Deborah Grace, Sunny Shell, and Phil Calderone. And our members include Cynthia McDonald and Kelly Lachlan, who you might know from the Nonprofits show, because they're often on there like I used to be. But they don't want me there anymore.
Oh boy. Oh,
I never did any of the work. I used to go on there and just be like, whatever. I'm sad. Fucking whatever. Anyway, thanks everybody. And I don't know, you got anything else you want to say, Mikey?
Definitely an interesting take. I think, but it's still the reason why I asked some of the ethical and the moral implications is because this sounds like a ticket to heaven, and that's what it was. So it's like, so what would you pay? How many planets must be
millions of dollars?
How many planets must be consumed for your AI machine to keep your consciousness going forever? Like, what is the real life cost?
Matrix.
Like, if you want to have a tech future where you get to live forever, fine. But I'm gonna make you finance it because I am a politics nerd, and that's what I do.
I didn't hear my name. Tons of Mice. Are you a member? Okay, I haven't updated the thing, so I don't know. Little Horn, are you a member or patron? I don't know. Wait, Stephen, I'll be on Nonprofits. He's with Kelly. Kelly's awesome. Yeah, the Rock Boy. Anyway, thank you everybody.
Thanks.
And I guess I probably Mikey and I'll be together on this again at some point next month, and who knows when I'll be back. I don't know. I am going away for a little while. I'm off all week this week, so I might do some surprise streams. You never know. But I do. Well, I'm working on audio for audiobook called Stephen the Prophet, and I get to be the voice of God, which I find hilarious. And Elliot's actually working on that book too. We just started doing some stuff. So
go out there and lick some doorknobs, Neil. I need you to get a good chest cold for that voice.
No, I'm
just billowing, gurgling, sick.
My voice cracks when that happens, and I'll be like hawking up loogies everywhere. We don't want that.
Perfect. I want you sounding like General Grievous in that bitch. hacking. Yeah.
All right, really, it's okay. I'm okay.
Perfect.
Anyway, yeah. So we're gonna have fun. Yeah. So I guess that's it, folks. Have yourselves a wonderful rest of your evening, and we'll see you guys next week.
Coins.
This is Skeptic Haven. Let's talk.